All right, here's how our Imperial Guard and Knights line up today. We've got a House Hawk Shroud, super heavy lance situation, and then we've got the Loyal 32 and a Hellhound. Did bring some mortars too, and each guard squad has a heavy bolter with it. Hellhound there as well. Knight Paladin, rapid fire battle cannon with the double stubber situation and a chainsword. The Castellan, he's my warlord, and then we have ourselves a Knight Crusader with a thermal cannon and the Avenger Gatling cannon. We did replace that for a CP with Endless Fury. He has an Iron Storm missile pod as well. And the warlord Castellan there has himself Armor of the Sacristans and something of the Sainted Ion, something. But this is how we line up our objectives in that. Our objective markers in the corner of that building on the ground floor. So that's how the guard line up.
All right, Touchhammer fans, as we do some more Adepticon ITC training for the Orks, we're going to play Cut to the Heart ITC mission. So we'll start off with the Orc Army and their golf detachment here. We have a War Boss, favorite model ever painted, with his attack squig. Then we have a weird boy that we converted to a warped, who has taken the jump and warpath. And then we have another weird boy here with Fist of Gork. And then we have a unit of 30 Slugga Chapel boys, another unit of 30 Slugga Chapel boys, and 10 Slugga Chapel boys. Those are all been 3 CP spent to turn them all into Ska boys, strength of 5. And then we get into a Bad Moons detachment with my warlord, the half contrast painted war boss here with the rocket launcher, the combi rocket launcher. And then we have a big mech with the custom force field index version. And then we have a big mech with the souped up Shaka. Spent another command point for that specialized detachment and another command point to give him that extra relic, because the golf war boss has the killer claw. And he's also with a Grot Oiler for an extra wound to get rid of. And we have a Runt Herd that are leading these 2 units, one of 15, one of 20 Gretchen. And then we have a unit of 30 Shooter boys back there. They'll be doing some shooter-ing. And then we get into some contrast primed tank busters here, a unit of 10 with 4 bomb squigs. Then we have a Pain Boy over here. And then we have 2 units of Lutas, one of 8, one of 7. Again, we have some proxy models with that amazing, I love those guys, back there. But, yeah, and then we have the Battle Wagon with the Defrola and a bunch of 4 custom shooters over there. That is 2,000 points of Orks. Wow. As we look at the deployment for this Cut to the Heart, let's look where he chose to successfully, strategically, well, we don't know if it's successful or not, with that amazing new Warhammer logo objective marker that was acquired today from the Warhammer Day. We do have a heavy weapon squad down here on that. Don't need line of sight, so that's going to be a nightmare. With a company commander and a Guardian squad, Guard squad. It's not the Guardians, they're not Eldar. Inside this building here, kind of holding it down. And then we have the Knights. Let's get to the front of these pretty Knights that are going to look better when they're all flaming. We got a Knight Paladin right here in front of the Hellhound. Then the Warlord Knight Castellan. And then we have another Guard squad and another Guard squad and a company commander in there. And then we have the Knight Crusader. And that is just tons of shots looking down at this. Oh, it's so amazing, except for all the non-painted models. Up here we put the souped up Shaka with his Grot Oiler. Hopefully we'll get some shots off before he dies. We got a couple boys over here. And then we got the Weird Boy, Warphead, Pain Boy, Triumvirate right there. Then some more boys back there. Then we got our Shooter boys kind of back there. We got the Lutas, all surrounded by that Gretchen that are just gonna hopefully take one for the team. And then we got the Warlord right there with the yellow War Boss. And then we got the Runt Herd trying to keep them in line. And the other Warlord right there. So that's kind of where we stand. The objective marker, by the way, is beneath the feet of this group of boys right here, full right now. So we'll see how this plays out. This is going to be an interesting learning experience. Round one, here we go.
All right, end of Imperium turn 1. Didn't do a whole lot of moving. Moved up with the Paladin, adjusted a little bit with the Hellhound. Did shooting, because that's what we do. But this Paladin shot at the Orc boys, killed a handful of Orc boys. Morale's not a thing for them. The Crusader then took a bunch of shots at the 20-man Gretchen squad there and wiped them out. Always feels good to use a thermal cannon on Gretchen. That's fantastic. And then the Castellan, since we didn't quite finish off that Gretchen squad, actually fired his Volcano Lance at the Gretchen. Really wanted them dead. Got them. Took his Plasma Decimator into the Ludas. Didn't do any wounds there. Siegebreaker cannons ended up killing 2, and we took the Siegebreaker missile, played the Oathbreaker stratagem at the Warlord here, the War Boss. Connected, hit, wounded, and then did 2 damage, and we got a Grat Shield. 2 Gretchen things valiantly gave their lives to save their War Boss. So killed 2 of them, and then the Runt Herd decided to, with his discipline squig, basically, kept them in line and killed 3 of them. So lost 5 total there. So not too terribly bad. Did a bunch of shooting, but we're about to see the Orc riposte, so to speak, and go from there. So Orc turn 2 coming up in a minute.
End of Orc turn 1. The souped up Shaka got extra D6. Total of 2 D6 shots. On that Knight Paladin over there who rotated his Ion Shield. So he, the 2 shots or wounds that went through, he saved them on those 4+, so well done there. But we'll get back here. Didn't do a whole lot of moving. Mobbed up these 2 units of boys, so I got a unit of 40. Gretchen kind of moved. These boys held on to that objective. Kind of hanging tight over here too. These Ludas shot over at that Paladin, who, actually, I take that back, because he rotated Ion Shields. These Ludas shot over to that Knight Paladin, nicked a couple wounds there. I'm sorry, Knight Crusader. And then these Ludas right here shot at the Knight Castellan. They nicked a couple wounds there, even on his 3+ save. So good job there. And then these unit of 30 Shooter boys, I had the jumps over to here, successfully split fire between the 2 units of Guard Squad. First 30 shots wiped out this group. Good job there, all 10 of them. Only 2 were saved on the 12 wounds that went through. And then this unit of 30 shots, nothing but 5s and 6s. I think only 3 died. So I had to do the inevitable and charge with Here We Go. Made a 10-inch charge, got to fighting, and just wiped the rest of the Guard Squad out. But during Overwatch here, we played a stratagem so that this Knight Crusader could shoot Overwatch, the staunch allies. He shot all his weapons Overwatch, and then 2d6 heroically intervened, and he rolled a 10, so he cheated by rolling well, because he doesn't normally do that. So he got in there, but after the Guard Squad was wiped, and the stompy feats on the Orcs, lost a total of 15 Orcs during Overwatch and stomping, and then 4 ran away in morale, which I guess that's their skulls down there in that crypt? No, maybe not, but they're dead. So then that's kind of where we stand at the end of turn 1 as far as board allocation. And when we look at the point scoring, I scored nothing on my secondaries, but the Knights scored 2 for Reaper, because he's killed 50 total models so far, so that's 1 point per 20. And then I did hold I killed 2 units to his 1, so I gained a point there. So at the end of 1, victory points 4 for the Imperium and 3 for the Orcs.
End of Imperium turn 2. We fell back out of combat with these Shooter boys that were here, shot them to death, then turned the might of the righteous Imperium upon the Xenos Horde, killed the balance of the Gretchens, and we killed the Ludas. That was a big success. Over here, the Knight Paladin took some shots at these Orc boys and killed 5, and then attempted to charge, failed that charge. But here is where we stand at the end of Imperium turn 2. I did max out Reaper, which is pretty fun and exciting. That's probably all we're going to do, but this is where we currently stand going into Orc turn 2.
At the end of Orc turn 2, we look at this Knight Paladin, and then let's kind of pan out to see the mayhem that happened around him. Yeah, that was magic. Not as much magic as I wanted, but enough as I needed. So this unit of boys advanced and then charged because the war boss right here was within 6 inches, so they could do that. This unit of boys was, they were warpath first to get 1 extra attack, so they had like 101 total attacks that could get in base contact. And then this unit of boys back here, they were just jumped over into this corner and successfully, here we go, their charge roll to make it. So they, I think, took a total of, he's down to 10 wounds. So I think he starts with 24, so maybe 14 came off of him. We did some shooting up here with the souped up Shaka. Again, nothing happened. When I warpath, did hit perils. So luckily D3 mortal wounds only lost 1. Painboy fell back to secure this objective here because very valuable point. The Ludas did some shooting over at the Castle Inn. Don't think we did anything with a total of 14 shots there. So yeah, that's okay. Warboss is trying to get in on the play there. Nothing happening there. This Warboss, the Warlord, snuck over into this quadrant to help with recon and to hopefully stay in cover. Then we had the Battle Wagon drop off the Teleporter. It did some shooting that Luda into the magic box over there with the heavy weapon squad on the objective that you can't see. Lava doesn't need to see them. Yeah, failed all 4 of those hits. Then the big shooters, they shot into the Crusader. Yeah, didn't do anything. I think I missed every shot. Then the tank busters inside of the open-topped toughness of 7 vehicle there. They lit up the Crusader there. Took him down to a wound. 7 total hits went through and 3 damage each. If I was smart enough, I would have claimed I was shooting all the bomb squigs at him earlier to get him off the board. Because then what they did was allow me to make a bad decision to attempt to charge to finish him off. And he took, Battle Wagon took 8 wounds in Overwatch because that Crusader there came in and helped out the family for 2 CP and lit him up pretty bad with all his stuff. But he is still alive, and he is in the top right quadrant of the board, and the bottom right quadrant with that war boss. Runtherd, might as well call him doing nothing since all his Gretchen are dead. Didn't do a good job bossing them. But he's in that quadrant. Then that 1.5 million boys that were mobbed up and jumped and warpath and all that stuff over there. So did get a point for recon, but as we add up all the killy points for everything that happened, victory points 9 for the Imperium and 9 for the Orcs. And the Orcs have 9.5 minutes left on the clock after round 2, so gotta speed that up.
End of Imperium turn 3, the Castellan and the Crusader knocked out the Battle Wagon. The tank busters popped out. They got knocked out too. We've got a big mech with a KFF just standing strong in the middle there. On this front, the Paladin fell back out of the nightmare that is bajillion Orc Boys, and the Hellhound joined to assist. Killed a handful of Orc Boys there. And this is where we currently stand at the end of Imperium turn 3. But interesting times in the kingdom. Coming up next, Orc turn 3.
At the end of Orc turn 3, MVP as per usual is the Killer Claw. He was dejumped after being Fist of Gorkding and Warpath, so 7 attacks, and he just swung really hard at the Hellhound and wiped it off the board. These boys got in there with time, didn't do any shooting, just got up in there and took a handful more wounds off the Paladin. Nothing really left over here except the custom force field on the big mech here, holding that quarter for another point of recon. And that's really about it. Did get that objective and another objective, so kind of took those points. At the end of 3, as I have 1 second left on the clock, it is Orcs devastatingly on top at 14-10. And then if we without rolling this out, if we just let the Knights do what they do with only saving attacks, saving rolls to follow, since I'm out of time and the Knights have 37 minutes left, more than likely it ends up 28 plus to 14, because I lose all the points the Orcs can get, and the Knights just kind of stomp and kill all the characters for Headhunter, and eventually get to this Warlord for Kingslayer and get to 4 points there for all their secondaries, and then they just hold all the objectives and kill all the units and kill more, so they probably get 4 points per turn, maybe starting with turn 5 and on. So it looks great right now. If I had another hour and a half, it'd be a battle. But not took too long to get into battle is my takeaway here. Just gotta force the action as used. Those big robots, didn't know what to do with them this time, but I know now. But as it stands right now, Orcs win. Yeah!